I have noticed something about the way you exist in a room full of people. It is a small detail, something most people would miss because they are too busy listening to the loudest voice in the conversation. But I see you. I see the way you almost speak, and then you stop. I see the way your breath catches in your throat for a fraction of a second. Your lips part just slightly, and then you swallow the words down. You pull them back inside of you as if they are dangerous. As if they are wild animals that you cannot trust to behave if you let them out of the cage. A moment later, you smile. You nod. You let someone else fill the silence that you are about to occupy. You retreat back into the safety of being the observer. It is a graceful retreat. You are so good at it that no one even realizes you were about to say something that mattered. You have become a master of the edit. You edit your thoughts in real time, deleting sentences before they even reach your tongue, rewriting your truth until it is palatable, until it is short, until it is convenient for everyone else. I know why you do this. I know that this is not because you have nothing to say. In fact, I think it is the opposite. I think you are quiet not because you are empty, but because you are so full. You are overflowing. Your mind is a constant storm of observations, and feelings, and memories, and connections that no one else seems to make. You see the way the light hits the floor and it reminds you of a Tuesday 3 years ago. You hear a tone in a friend's voice that tells you they are sad, even though they are laughing. You feel everything, but you have learned that the world is not built for people who feel everything. You have learned that the world is built for the loud, for the quick, for the people who can speak without thinking. And so, you decided a long time ago that it was safer to keep your world inside your head. You decided that your silence was a shield. I want to take you back to where this started, because you were not born silent. No child is born silent. When you came into this world, you cried. You screamed. You demanded to be held. You demanded to be fed. You had needs, and you were not afraid to announce them. You took up space without apologizing for it. So when did that change? I want you to think about the house you grew up in. Maybe it was a house with thin walls. Maybe it was a house where the air always felt heavy, like a storm was about to break. And you learned early on that you had to be the barometer. You had to read the weather of the room before you walked into it. You learned to listen to the footsteps in the hallway to know what kind of mood your parents were in. You learned that if the footsteps were heavy, you should be invisible. If the voices were raised, you learned to walk on the floorboards that did not creak. You memorized the geography of your own home not to explore it, but to navigate it without making a sound. You became a ghost in your own life. There is a specific memory I think you carry, even if you do not look at it very often. It is the memory of the first time you were too much. Maybe you were crying over something that seemed small to an adult, like a dropped toy or a scraped knee, or just a feeling of overwhelming sadness that you could not name. And someone, maybe someone you loved very much, looked at you with exhaustion in their eyes. They told you to stop crying. They told you that you were being dramatic. They told you that you were too sensitive. That moment changed your chemistry. It rearranged your DNA. Because in that moment, you learned a terrible lie. You learned that your emotions were a burden to the people you loved. You learned that to be loved, you had to be low maintenance. You had to be the good child, And what is the definition of a good child? A good child does not make a scene. A good child does not ask for more than they are given. A good child swallows their pain so that the adults do not have to deal with it. So you became the good child. You became the one who never needed anything. You became the one who sat in the corner with a book, or a drawing pad, or just your own thoughts, while the chaos of the family swirled around you. You watched the adults argue, or you watched your siblings get in trouble, and you thought to yourself, I will never be the cause of that noise. I will be the peace. But being the peace is a heavy burden to carry when there is a war inside your chest. You grew up, but you never stopped walking on those floorboards. You are still doing it now. You walk into your relationships on your tiptoes. You enter friendships carefully, testing the ground to see if it is safe to put your full weight down. And most of the time, you decide it is not. You decide if you show people the full extent of who you are, if you show them the anxiety, the jealousy, the deep, aching need for reassurance, they will look at you with that same exhaustion you saw when you were 5 years old. And that thought terrifies you, so you keep the mask on. You become the listener. Everyone loves a listener. Do they not? People flock to you. They tell you their secrets. They pour their hearts out to you because you are such a safe harbor. You absorb their pain like a sponge. You offer them advice. You validate their feelings. You tell them exactly what they need to hear. But who listens to you? Who asks you how you are and actually waits for the answer? I know there are days when you feel like you are disappearing. You sit in a group of friends, and they are all talking over each other, laughing, sharing stories. And you are just there, physically present, but emotionally miles away. You feel a pane of glass lie down between you and them. You can see them, you can hear them, but you cannot touch them. And you wonder if they would even notice if you got up and walked away. You wonder if you are boring. You tell yourself that you are just not interesting enough. You tell yourself that you do not have good stories, or that you are not funny, or that you are just awkward. But that is not the truth. The truth is that you are protecting yourself. You are staying behind the glass because the glass is safe. If you stay silent, you cannot say the wrong thing. If you stay silent, you cannot be rejected. If you stay silent, no one can use your words against you later. Silence is your fortress. It is the castle you built to keep the dragon out. But the problem with locking the dragon out is that you have also locked yourself in. You are the ruler of a kingdom of one. I want you to know that I understand the specific texture of your silence. It is not a void. It is not empty space. Your silence is a library. It is filled with thousands of books, thousands of stories that you have written in your head but never published. Think about the conversations you have in the shower. Think about the arguments you win when you are driving alone in your car. Think about the beautiful, poetic things you think about when you are lying in bed at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling. You are articulate. You are passionate. You are funny. You are wise. You are all of these things. You just do not feel safe enough to show them. You have spent so many years translating yourself. You take the raw, complex, messy feelings in your heart, and you run them through a translator in your brain before you speak. The translator asks, is this necessary? Is this kind? Will this annoy anyone? Will this make me look weak? And by the time the feeling gets through all those filters, there is nothing left but a generic sentence. I am fine, you say. It is okay, you say. Do not worry about it, you say. I am fine is the biggest lie you have ever told. It is the armor you wear every single day. I see the fatigue in your eyes. I know how tired you are. It is exhausting to constantly repress your own nature. It takes a tremendous amount of physical energy to hold back tears. It takes a tremendous amount of mental energy to monitor your own behavior every second of the day. You are working a full-time job that no one pays you for. You are working the job of being the easy version of yourself. And the saddest part is that you think this is what makes people love you. You think that if you stopped being easy, the love would disappear. You think that your value lies in your lack of needs. You think that the less space you take up, the more room there is for people to love you. But I want to challenge that thought. I want to ask you, do you love the people in your life because they are easy? Or do you love them because they are real? Think about the person you love most in the world. Maybe it is a friend, a partner, a sibling. Do you love them because they never complain? Do you love them because they never cry? No. You love them because of their quirks. You love them because of their laugh. You love them because they are messy and human, and sometimes they are annoying and sometimes they are loud. But they are theirs. Why do you think the rules are different for you? Why do you think you are the only person on earth who is not allowed to be human? You treat yourself with a strictness that you would never apply to anyone else. You are your own strictest warden. You patrol the borders of your personality, making sure nothing unapproved slips through. I want to tell you something that might be hard to hear, but I say it with so much gentleness. Your silence is not fooling anyone who really looks. The people who really love you, the ones who are worth keeping, they can feel the distance. They can feel that you are holding back. And sometimes, your silence makes them feel lonely too. Because they want to know you. They want to know the real you, not the curated, edited, safe version of you. They want to know the you that exists in the shower. They want to know the you that drives the car at night, but you have to let them in. And I know how terrifying that is. I know it feels like stepping off a cliff without knowing if there is water or rocks below. Let us go back to that child in the house with the thin walls, the one who is holding their breath. I want you to visualize them right now. I want you to see that child sitting on the edge of their bed, listening to the muffled sounds of the house, trying to be small. I want you to imagine that you can walk into that room. You, the adult you are today. You walk into that room and you sit down next to them on the bed. You do not have to say anything at first. You just sit there. You let them feel your presence. You let them know that they are not alone in that room anymore. And then, I want you to imagine taking their hand. It is a small hand, and I want you to tell them you do not have to be quiet anymore. You are safe now. I am here, and I will listen to you. I will listen to everything you have to say. You can scream. You can cry. You can tell me a boring story about a rock you found, and I will listen to every single word. You are not a burden. You are a gift. You need to become the listener for your own inner child. You have spent your whole life listening to everyone else. It is time to turn that empathetic ear inward. It is time to listen to the silence in your own heart and decode what it is trying to tell you. Because that silence is not just fear. It is also wisdom. It is also preservation. You stayed quiet to survive. You stayed quiet to get through a difficult time. And that was a brave thing to do. You did what you had to do to protect your soft heart in a hard world. You should be proud of that child for surviving. You should thank them for their silence. Because it got you here. It got you to this moment where you are listening to my voice. And you are finally ready to understand. But the war is over. You do not have to live in the bunker anymore. The walls of your current life are not as thin as the walls of your childhood home. You are allowed to make noise. You are allowed to drop things. You are allowed to disagree. You are allowed to say, I am hurt. You are allowed to say, I need help. It will feel strange at first. It will feel unnatural, like writing with your not dominant hand. Your voice might shake. You might stutter. You might say it wrong. And that is okay. The people who belong in your life will wait for you to find the words. They will not rush you. They will not sigh and look away. They will lean in. They will say, take your time. I am listening. And for the people who do not, for the people who need you to be small in order to tolerate you, maybe it is time to let them go. Maybe your silence was protecting you from realizing that they never really loved you. They only loved your compliance. And that is a painful realization, but it is also a liberating one. Because once you stop performing silence, you will find the people who love your sound. You have a beautiful sound. You have a voice that is unique in all the universe. It is a combination of everything you have ever seen, everything you have ever felt, every book you have read, every song that made you cry. It is a tapestry of your soul, and it is a tragedy to keep it rolled up in the dark. I want you to practice something small today. I want you to say one true thing. It does not have to be a big declaration. It can be something tiny. It can be, I am tired. It can be, I do not want to watch this movie. It can be, I really like this song. Just one true thing that you would normally filter out. Say it. Let it hang in the air. Watch it. See that the world does not end. See that the roof does not cave in. This is how you rebuild. Brick by brick. Word by word. You reclaim your voice by using it. You reclaim your space by occupying it. You are not just a background character in other people's stories. You are the protagonist of your own. And protagonists have lines. Protagonists have monologues. Protagonists scream at the rain. So let it out. Let the pressure valve release just a little bit. You do not have to explode. You just have to exhale. You have been holding your breath for 20 years. It is time to breathe. Deep breaths. The weight of the words unspoken is heavy, I know. It settles in your shoulders. It settles in your jaw. You grind your teeth at night because your body is trying to chew through the silence. You wake up tired because you have been fighting battles in your sleep. But we are going to lay that weight down. We are going to unpack the backpack. We are going to look at every stone you are carrying, the stone of do not be a burden, the stone of no one cares, the stone of I am too sensitive, and we are going to set them down by the side of the road. We do not need them where we are going. Where we are going, you are light. listens. Stay with me. We're just beginning to unravel this. The silence was the first layer. But beneath the silence, there is a reason why you chose the shadows. There is a reason why you find comfort in the gray, in the rain, in the solitude. And that is where we are going next. We are going to step out of the house with the thin walls and we are going to walk into the rain. And you will see why you have always loved the storm. You are doing so well. You are so brave for looking at this. I am right here with you. I am not going anywhere. Let us take a breath. And when you are ready, we will walk into the gray together. And here we are. The sky has turned that specific shade of slate gray that you love so much. Can you feel that? That sudden, physical unclamping of your chest. It is as if the weather has finally matched the atmosphere inside your head. And for the first time all day, there is no friction. You do not have to pretend the world is bright when the sky is weeping. You can just be. I want to talk about this environment you have built for yourself. I want to talk about why you check the weather app and feel a secret little thrill when you see storm clouds on the horizon. I want to talk about why you prefer the curtains drawn, the lights slow, and the music soft. Most people think you are hiding. They think you are depressed. They try to pull you out into the sun, telling you that you need vitamin D, that you need to get some fresh air, that you are wasting the day. But they do not understand. They do not understand that for you, the sun is not just light, it is pressure. When the sun is shining, the world feels loud. It feels expectant. A sunny day demands something from you. It demands that you go out. It demands that you be productive. It demands that you smile. It feels like a spotlight is being shown directly into your eyes, and there is nowhere to hide your shadows. The sun illuminates the dust on the floorboards. It illuminates the tired circles under your eyes. It illuminates the fact that everyone else seems to be having a wonderful time, and you are just trying to survive the noise. But the rain is a blanket. The rain is a pardon. When it rains, the world stops expecting things from you. The pressure lifts. It is okay to stay inside when it rains. It is okay to do nothing. It is okay to be slow. The rain gives you permission to rest in a way that the sun never does. And more than that, I think you love the rain because it is the only thing that is loud enough to drown out your thoughts. You have a very loud mind. We established that you are constantly thinking, analyzing, worrying, remembering. It is a constant hum of static. But the sound of rain against the window, it is white noise. It creates a sound barrier between you and the chaos. It allows you to finally hear yourself think, or better yet, to stop thinking altogether. You find peace in the gray not because you are sad, but because the gray is neutral. It is undemanding. Think about the colors you gravitate toward. Muted tones, soft fabrics. You create a nest. You build a cocoon. This is not accidental. This is sensory regulation. You feel the emotions of others so intensely that your own physical space needs to be a void. You need a place where nothing is happening so that you can process everything that happened out there. There is a specific feeling I know you cherish. It is the feeling of canceled plans. You make the plans because you want to be a good friend. You want to be social. You want to be the person who goes out and does things. But as the hour approaches, you feel the dread start to creep in. You start looking at the clock, calculating how much time you have left to be alone. You start hoping for a minor catastrophe, a flat tire, a headache, a sudden snowstorm, anything that would force you to stay home without it being your fault. And then, the text comes in. Hey, I am so sorry, but I cannot make it tonight. And the wave of relief that washes over you is almost euphoric. It is better than any drug. It is the gift of time. It is the gift of silence. You do not have to put the mask on tonight. You do not have to perform. You can put your comfortable clothes back on. You can make a cup of tea. And you can return to your sanctuary. I want you to know that this does not make you a bad friend. It does not make you anti-minus social. It just means that your social battery is smaller than other people's, and it takes longer to recharge. You give so much of your energy away when you are with people, observing them, listening to them, feeling for them that you have nothing left for yourself. Solitude is how you reclaim your own edges. It is how you remember where you end and the rest of the world begins. I want to take you to a specific place now. I want you to close your eyes and imagine that you are in a car at night. Maybe you are in the passenger seat. Maybe you are in the back of a taxi. It does not matter. You are not driving. You are just being carried. It is raining outside, of course. The drops are streaking across the glass, turning the streetleted into long, blurred smears of orange on treed. The car is warm. The heater is humming. The radio is playing something low and instrumental. This space, this moving metal capsule moving through the dark, is your favorite place in the world. Do you know why? Because you are in transit. You are between point A and point B. You are nowhere. And because you are nowhere, you do not have to be anyone. You are not a daughter, or a son, or a partner, or an employee. You are just a pair of eyes looking out a window. You are a ghost passing through the city. There is a profound safety in that anonymity. You watch the people walking on the sidewalk with their umbrellas, and you wonder where they are going. You look into the lit windows of the houses you pass, catching brief glimpses of other people's lives, a television flickering blue in a living room, a family sitting at a dinner table, and you feel a strange, aching kind of love for them. It is a melancholic love. It is a love that feels like missing someone you have never met. The Welsh have a word for it, H-I-R-E-T-H. It is a longing for a home that maybe never existed, or a homesickness for a place you cannot return to. You feel this often, do you not? This hollow ache in the center of your chest. You mistake it for sadness, but it is not exactly sadness. It is depth. It is the realization that the world is so big and so beautiful and so fleeting, and you cannot hold on to any of it. You try to capture it. I know you do. I bet your phone is full of photos of the sky, photos of sunsets, photos of the way the light hits a wall, photos of a flower growing out of a crack in the sidewalk. You take these pictures because you are trying to freeze time. You are trying to prove that this moment happened. You are trying to say, I was here. I saw this. Most people walk past the flower. Most people do not notice the light. But you stop. You always stop. This is what I mean when I say your sensitivity is a gift. It allows you to see the beauty in the broken things. You love the old buildings with the peeling paint. You love the songs that are in a minor key. You love the characters in books who are misunderstood. You resonate with them because you feel like a peeling building. You feel like a song in a minor key. You feel like the character who is always on the outside looking in. You have built a romance around your loneliness. And I do not say that to judge you. I say that because it was a survival mechanism. When you were that child we talked about, the one who was left alone too often, the one who was told they were too much, you had to find a way to make the isolation bearable. So you made it beautiful. You decided that being alone was poetic. You decided that sitting by the window and watching the rain was not lonely, it was atmospheric. You turned your pain into art. You turned your isolation into an aesthetic. And it works. But it also keeps you trapped. Because if you make your loneliness too beautiful, you will never want to leave it. You will stay in the gray forever because the colors out there are too brightened and sharpened, they might hurt your eyes. I am not asking you to give up the gray. I love the way you see the world. I love that you find comfort in the shadows. I think it makes you deep and interesting and soulful. But I want to make sure that you are choosing the gray because you love it, not because you are afraid of the light. There's a difference between solitude and isolation. Solitude is the glory of being alone. Isolation is the fear of being together. I want you to check in with yourself right now. In this room, with the curtains drawn, are you here because you are resting? Or are you here because you are hiding? If you are resting, then stay. Wrap that blanket tighter. Let the rain lull you to sleep. You deserve the rest. You have worked hard to be who you are. But if you are hiding, if you are staying in the gray because you have convinced yourself that you do not belong in the sun, then I want to offer you a hand. Just a small one. You do not have to go out to a party. You do not have to be the center of attention. But maybe, just maybe, you could open the curtains a few inches. Maybe you could let a little bit of the world back in. Because the world is missing you. The world needs people who appreciate the rain. The world needs people who stop to look at the flowers. But we cannot see you when you are locked in your tower. I know you are afraid that if you step out, you will be overwhelmed. You are afraid that your skin is too thin for this world. And you are right. Your skin is thin. You bruise easily. You bleed easily. But that is also why you feel joy so intensely. That is why you can look at a painting and be moved to tears. That is why you can listen to a piece of music and feel like your soul is soaring. You cannot numb the pain without numbing the joy. They come through the same door. If you lock the door to keep the sadness out, you are also locking the happiness out. And that is why your life feels gray. Not because it is bad, but because it is muted. You have turned the volume down on everything. I want to help you find the dial. I want to help you turn it up. Just a little bit. Not to a level that hurts, but to a level where you can hear the melody again. But for now, it is okay to watch the streetlet pass by. I am sitting in the passenger seat right next to you. We do not have to talk. We can just watch the rain. We can just exist in this quiet, gray space together. I see you. I see the beauty you have created in your solitude. It is a masterpiece. But even museums have doors. Even sanctuaries have gates. You have built a fortress of solitude. And it is impressive, It has kept you safe for a long time. But I have noticed something about fortresses. They are designed to keep enemies out, but they often end up keeping friends out too. They are designed to withstand sieges. But you have been under siege for so long that you have forgotten what peacetime looks like. You push people away. I have seen you do it. I have seen someone try to get close to you, try to love you, and I have seen you flinch. I have seen you go cold. I have seen you shut down. Why do you do that? Why do you run from the very thing you say you want? We are going to talk about that. We are going to talk about the walls you have built, and why you are so terrified of letting anyone climb them. We are going to talk about why you are the hardest person you know to love, and why that is not actually true. But for this moment, just listen to the rain. Let it wash away the need to explain yourself. You are safe in the gray. You are safe with me. We are just two ghosts in a car, watching the world go by. And that is enough. For right now, that is enough. I have been watching the way you handle pain. It is a very specific quietness. When most people are hurt, they get loud. They scream. They accuse. They cry. They throw things. They demand that the world acknowledges their suffering. But you go cold. You go absolutely, terrifyingly quiet. I have seen it happen. Someone says something that cuts you to the bone. And instead of fighting back, you just shut down. It is like watching a light switch being flicked off in a room. Your face goes blank. Your voice becomes flat. You withdraw into yourself with such speed that it leaves the other person spinning. They ask you what is wrong, and you say nothing. You say, I am fine. But you say it with a tone that implies you are already 1,000 miles away. You isolate yourself to lick your wounds. You retreat to your room, or your car, or the deepest corner of your mind, because you do not trust anyone else to hold the bandages. You have decided that your pain is a private matter. You have decided that involving other people in your healing process is a risk you are not willing to take. This is the fortress of solitude you have built. And I want to talk about the bricks you used to build it. I think the biggest brick is something called hyper-independence. You are the person who does everything themselves. You move furniture by yourself because you do not want to bother anyone. You figure out complex problems by yourself because you hate feeling incompetent. You carry 5 grocery bags at once, cutting off the circulation in your fingers, rather than asking for a hand. You wear this independence like a badge of honor. You tell yourself, I do not need anyone. I can take care of myself. And on the surface, that looks like strength. It looks like power, but I know what it really is. It is a trauma response. At some point in your timeline, you learn it a very hard lesson. You learn it that if you rely on people, they will let you down. Maybe you asked for help once, and no one came. Maybe you leaned on someone, and they stepped aside, letting you fall. Maybe you showed someone your soft underbelly, and they used that knowledge to hurt you later. So you made a vow. You swore an oath to yourself that you would never be in that position again. You decided that the only person you could truly trust was you. You decided to become your own hero because waiting for someone else to save you took too long. And it hurt too much when they did not show up. But the problem with being your own hero is that it is exhausted. It is bone-deep exhaustion. I I look at you and I see how tired you are of holding up the sky. You are the strong friend. You are the one everyone else comes to with their problems. You are the therapist, the advisor, the rock. You hold space for everyone else's chaos, but who holds space for yours? When you are falling apart, you do it in the dark. You wait until everyone is asleep. You cry in the shower where the water washes the evidence away. You make sure that by the time you step out the door in the morning, your eyes are clear and your armor's back on. You would rather die and let them see you bleed. And this brings us to the way you push people away. There is a phenomenon that happens with people like you. It is often called the door slam. You endure and you forgive the small slights. You overlook the forgotten birthdays, the careless comments, the selfishness. You make excuses for people. You tell yourself they did not mean it. You swallow your disappointment over and over again. But there is a limit. There is a silent tally mark being kept in the back of your head. And one day, someone crosses the line. It might be a small thing. It might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. And suddenly, you are done. You do not argue. You do not explain. You just lock the door. You cut them out of your life emotionally, even if they are still there physically. You become a wall. And once that door is slammed, it almost never opens again. People think this is cold. They think you are heartless. They do not see the years of patience that came before the slam. They do not see the hundreds of chances you gave them before you finally decided to protect your peace. But I also know that sometimes you slam the door not because you are done, but because you are afraid. You have this terrifying mechanism where you push people away just as they are getting close. You push them to see if they will stay. You push them to see if they are strong enough to handle your darkness. But the tragedy is that most people do not pass the test. They take your push as a rejection, and they leave. And then you sit there, alone in your fortress, telling yourself, I knew they would leave. I was right not to trust them. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You are so afraid of abandonment that you engineer it. You leave them before they can leave you. You reject them before they can reject you. It is a scorched earth policy. You burn the bridges so that no enemies can follow you. But you forget that means no friends can bring you supplies. I want to ask you about the phantom pain. You know the one? It is the feeling of wanting to be held, but flinching when someone touches you. It is a paradox. You crave deep connection. You want someone to look at you. You want to be known. You want intimacy so badly it makes your teeth ache. But the moment it is offered to you, vulnerability feels like dying to you. Letting someone see your weakness feels like handing them a loaded gun and aiming it at your chest. So you keep the armor on. You keep the witty banter. You keep the surface level conversations. You deflect with humor. You ask them questions about themselves so they do not have time to ask about you. You are a master of deflection. You are a magician of avoidance. I imagine your heart as a house. It is a beautiful house, filled with treasures. But there is a high fence around it, and there are guards at the gate, and there are dogs patrolling the perimeter. You sit inside the house, looking out the window, watching people walk by on the street. And you think, why does no one come visit me? Why am I so lonely? But you forget that you locked the gate. You forget that you look intimidating from the outside. People cannot see the soft, warm light inside the house. They only see the walls. They only see the keep out signs you posted years ago. I want to validate that fear for a moment. I want to tell you that it makes sense. You did not build these walls because you are a bad person. You built them because you are a survivor. You built them because out there, in the open field, you got hurt. You built them to keep the predators out, but the war is over. The threats that formed you are in the past. You are not that helpless child anymore. You are an adult with agency. You have the power to protect yourself without shutting the whole world out. The cost of this fortress is too high. The cost is that no one truly knows you. They know the version of you that you allow them to see. They know the representative you send out to meetings. But they do not know the CEO. They do not know the person who cries at commercials. They do not know the person who is terrified of dying. They do not know the person who loves so hard it feels like burning. And that is a tragedy. Because the person inside the fortress is wonderful. The person inside the fortress is the most interesting person I know. I feel the weight of your armor. I know how heavy it is. I know your shoulders ache from carrying it. I know you are tired of being the strong one. I know you secretly wish that just once, someone would look at you and say, you do not have to handle this alone. But they cannot say that if you do not let them see that you are struggling. They cannot help you carry the load if you pretend it is light as a feather. You have to drop the act. You have to let the crack show. I know it feels like if you let one tear fall, the dam will break and you will never stop crying. I know it feels like if you admit you need help, you will dissolve into a puddle of neediness. But that is the fear talking. That is the trauma talking. The truth is, asking for help is not weakness. It is the highest form of courage. It is admitting that you are human. It is admitting that you are part of a species that was designed to live in tribes. We are not meant to do this alone. We are biologically wired for connection. Your hyper-independence is fighting against your own biology. That is why it feels so hard. That is why you are so tired. You are swimming upstream. You are fighting the current of your own humanity. I want you to imagine what it would feel like to lower the drawbridge. Just a few inches. You do not have to tear the walls down. You can keep the walls. They are part of you. But maybe you could install a gate. Maybe you could give a key to one person. Just one. Think of someone in your life who has been kind. Someone who has stayed, even when you were difficult. Someone who seems to see you, even when you are hiding. What would happen if you told them the truth? What would happen if you sent a text right now saying, I am having a hard time. I know your heart is racing just thinking about it. I know your brain is listing 1,000 reasons why that is a bad idea. They are busy. They do not care. I am being dramatic. I will regret it. But what if you are wrong? What if they are waiting for you to let them in? What if they have been standing outside the gate this whole time, just hoping for a sign that they are welcome? You are punishing yourself for crimes you did not commit. You are sentencing yourself to solitary confinement because you are afraid of being hurt. But loneliness is a kind of hurt too. It is a slow, quiet take that wears you down over years. At least the hurt of connection is sharpened, quickened, it heals. The hurt of isolation just lingers. It becomes part of the furniture. I want you to feel the warmth of another human hand. I want you to feel the relief of being held. I want you to know that you are lovable, not in spite of your needs, but because of them. Your needs are what make you real. Your cracks are what make you tangible. Hey smooth, perfect sphere is hard to hold. It slips right out of your hands. But a rock with rough edges? A rock with texture? That is something you can grip. That is something you can hold on to. Be the rock with edges. Be the person with needs. Be the person who says, I cannot do this alone. It is okay to be soft. In fact, it is necessary. The world is hard enough. Do not make your heart hard to. We are moving towards the end of this journey now. We have looked at your silence. We have looked at your sanctuary in the gray. We have looked at the walls you built to keep the world out. Now, I want to talk about what happens when you finally come home to yourself. I want to talk about what life looks like when you stop running from your own sensitivity. I want to show you that the very things you think are your weaknesses, your emotions, your empathy, your need for depth are actually your superpowers. You are not broken, my love. You are just protecting a very precious cargo. But it is time to unwrap it. It is time to let the light touch it. Take a deep breath. Can you feel the tension in your jaw? Let it go. Can you feel the knot in your stomach? Unwind it. You are safe here. You do not have to fight me. I am on your side. I am sitting right outside the gate, and I am not leaving. I will wait as long as it takes for you to be ready. When you are ready, we will turn the key together. We will step out of the fortress and into the garden. And you will see that you have nothing to fear. You are ready to be seen. I am looking past the walls now. I am looking past the silence, past the gray curtains, past the locked gates and the high fences. I am looking directly at the person underneath all of that architecture, and I have to tell you, what I see is breathtaking. I see the person who cries at the end of movies, not because it is sad, but because it is beautiful. I see the person who remembers that their friend prefers their coffee without milk, even though they only mentioned it once 3 months ago. I see the person who saves spiders instead of killing them. I see the person who has so much love to give that it scares them, because they know that if they start pouring it out, it will be an ocean that drowns everything in its path. You have spent your entire life apologizing for this person. You have spent decades trying to trim away these parts of yourself. You have tried to toughen up. You have tried to be more like the people who walk through the world without bruising. But I am here to tell you that your sensitivity is not a defect. It is not a glitch in your programming. It is your operating system. And it is a superior operating system. We are going to reframe everything we have talked about today. We are going to take all the things you have labeled as flaws and we are going to look at them under a different light. Your silence. It is not weakness. It is observation. While everyone else is busy talking over each other, trying to prove how smart they are, you are gathering data. You are reading the room. You are understanding the subtext that everyone else is missing. Your silence is a form of respect. It is a form of deep listening. In a world that never stops screaming, your silence is a sanctuary. Your need for isolation? It is not anti-minus social. It is restorative. You are a battery that runs on a different voltage. You give so much energy to the world, your empathy, your attention, your compassion that you need deep rest to recover. Your time alone is not time wasted. It is time invested in your own sanity. It is the time when you stitch yourself back together so you can go out and love the world again tomorrow. And your sensitivity, the thing you have been told is too much. It is actually your intuition. It is your superpower. You feel things before they happen. You understand people before they speak. You can sense danger, and you can sense safety. You have a radar that most people do not have. The world tries to tell you that you are too sensitive because the world is afraid of feeling. The world is numb. The world is rushing from one distraction to the next because it is terrified of sitting still with its own heart. But you are not afraid of the deep end. You live in the deep end. You are the one who keeps the humanity in this world alive. If everyone was thick minus skin, if everyone was tough, who would create the art? Who would write the poetry? Who would comfort the grieving? Who would notice the beauty of the rain? We need you. We do not need a tougher version of you. We do not need a louder version of you. We need your tears. We need your quiet. We need your depth. I want to talk about the concept of kintsugi. It is the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold. When a bowl breaks, they do not throw it away. They glue the pieces back together, but they mix gold dust into the glue. They highlight the cracks. They make the scars the most beautiful part of the object. They believe that the piece is more beautiful for having been broken. You are not broken glass that needs to be swept up. You are a mosaic. You are a piece of kintsugi art. The cracks in your heart, the places where you were hurt, the places where you had to rebuild yourself, those are lines of gold. They are the proof of your survival. They are the map of your journey. Do not try to hide your cracks anymore. Do not paint over them. They are where the light enters. They are how you connect with other people. When you show someone your cracks, it gives them permission to show you theirs. Look, I have been broken too. And I am still here. And I am still beautiful. I want to invite you to imagine a future. I want to replace the image of the lonely child in the thin, minus-walled house with a new image. Imagine a kitchen. It is early morning. The light is soft and blue. You are standing there, making coffee or tea. And you are not alone. There is someone else there. Maybe a partner, maybe a friend. And the room is quiet. But it is not the heavy, tense silence of your childhood. It is a warm silence. It is a comfortable silence. You do not feel the need to fill the air with words. You do not feel the need to entertain them. You are just standing there, existing together. You look at them, and they look at you. And you feel completely seen. They know you are sensitive, and they handle you with care. They know you need space, and they give it to you without taking it personally. They love you not for what you do for them, but just because you exist. This future is possible. It is waiting for you. But to get there, you have to stop hiding. You have to stop believing that you are unlovable. You have to stop punishing yourself for being who you are. I know it feels dangerous to hope. I know that hope is a scary thing because it implies the possibility of disappointment. But cynicism is a dead end. Cynicism is just another wall you build to keep yourself safe. I am asking you to be brave enough to be soft. I am asking asking you to be brave enough to hope. You have spent so long coming home to an empty house. You have spent so long coming home to a fortress. I want you to learn the art of coming home to yourself. Coming home to yourself means accepting every part of the house. It means going into the basement where you locked away your anger and your sadness, and opening the windows. It means going into the attic where you hid your dreams, and dusting them off. It means sitting in the living room of your own soul and feeling comfortable. It means saying to yourself, I am allowed to be here. I am allowed to take up space. I am allowed to have needs. I am allowed to be messy. I am allowed to be human. You have been your own worst enemy for a long time. You have criticized yourself more harshly than anyone else ever could. You have bullied yourself into silence. I want you to lay down your weapons. I want you to declare a ceasefire with yourself. Treat yourself with the same gentleness that you treat the world. You are so kind to strangers. You are so patient with your friends. Why are you so cruel to the person in the mirror? You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own patience. You deserve to be held by your own arms. I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Just for a second. And I want you to visualize that you are standing in the rain again. But this time, you are not hiding. You are not hunched your shoulders against the cold. You are standing tall. You are tipping your head back. You are letting the water wash over your face. You are feeling the cold, and you are not afraid of it. You are feeling the storm, and you realize that you are not separate from the storm. You are the storm. You are powerful. Your emotions are not a weakness. They are a force of nature. You have walked a long road to get here. You have carried heavy burdens. You have walked on eggshells and floorboards and broken glass. But look at you. You are still standing. You are still breathing. You are still capable of love. That is a miracle. You are a miracle. I want you to know that you do not have to explain yourself here. You do not have to translate your soul into a language that other people understand. On this channel, we speak your language. We speak the language of the quiet ones. We speak the language of the deep feelers. You are safe with me. You can take off the mask here. You can put down the armor. You can just be. I hope you stay close. I hope you come back to this space whenever the world feels too loud. I hope you use this voice as a reminder that you are not alone. There are thousands of us. We are scattered all over the world, sitting in our rooms, listening to the rain, feeling too much. We are a secret society of sensitive souls. And we are in this together. You are not weird. You are rare. You are not broken. You are deep. You are not too much. You are just enough. The silence is not your enemy anymore. The silence is your friend. It is the canvas upon which you paint your life. So paint it. Paint it with all the colors you were afraid to use. Paint it with the gray. Yes, but also with the gold. I am so glad you exist. I am so glad you are here. Take a deep breath. Let it fill your lungs. Feel the air expanding your chest. That is your life. That is your right. Rest now. You have done the work. The walls are down. Or at least, the gate is open. The rain has stopped. And the air is clean. You are home. I will be here. Until next time, Take care of your heart. It is the most beautiful thing you own.